Hello everybody, this is Jacob, also known as Mr. OK, and Saints fan in game. Got a game here in the Shinonome from, I think it was last weekend. Well, this gameplay was a good example of, people think the IGN torpedo boats are exclusively torpedo boats. And in this game, I got a good mix of gun damage and torpedo damage. And I think it also shows that there's lineups, tier 6 game, no radar, obviously at tier 6, but still hydro, gotta watch out for that. And I think it also shows that in some games with destroyers, especially, and torpedo-based destroyers, especially even more, sometimes you have to give what the enemy gives you. Take what the enemy gives you, sorry. There's an Anshan, he's spotted, and I have to run from him. He's a gunboat. I don't have much of a choice. Actually, there's two Anshans here. So my torps are close to him, but I don't have a choice but to smoke up here and wait. As my team is behind me, I have an Emerald and an Aoba. So Anshan dodges the torps, and I see his last known position, and I open fire on him. And I'm waiting here for my team to come get me. Right now, I have a New Mexico and a Baron that are sailing around in our spawn, and we're almost we're over 2 minutes into the game. I know they're slow, but something Flemu mentions often is battleship play, and anyway, yeah. But I do have an Emerald. I have 2 ships here, but they could be doing more to help me. Okay, the Anshan is spotted again, and he's launching torps at me, which is what I suspected. Thankfully, that plane was overhead, and it was scouting them for me. You have to be very careful when you're in your smoke cloud as a destroyer, because they know you're there and they're going to torp it. Ideally, you want to point the front or the back of your ship at where you think the torps are coming from to minimize your exposure to them, minimize how wide your ship is, so you don't take any or you take fewer. But at this point, I left smoke because of the torpedoes, and I'm running away. And again, I'm taking what the red team is giving me here. I had to leave the cap. Sometimes you stay in the cap too long as a destroyer, and you get killed because you're overwhelmed. Most of the team is in the north at this point, so I can't be too aggressive in the south because I don't have a lot of help. I don't have a choice. So I'm just taking what the red team is giving me. You can't force it. If you force it as a destroyer, you'll die. Okay, so that helped me out there. The Emerald took out the Anshan, and I see that we have 2 cruisers in the cap, and their Anshan is still there, so they're not actually capping, but the Anshan appears to be moving out. Okay, so I'm undetected at this point, and I'm just looking at what do I see at this point, and I see that Nicholas there. Now, I know that my gun arcs are actually much better than his in an IGN destroyer. My rate of fire is bad, my turret rotation is bad, but my gun arcs are much better than his. So I'm detected, but I go ahead and open fire on him. I still have 10,000 HP, and I decide he's probably not paying attention to me, so open fire on him. And again, he's the target there. Notice nobody else is really around me that can hit me. They're not aiming at me, so I don't have priority target, but they're not. I did get hit there, take a pretty large hit, but again, I'm just taking what they give me, and I shaved away about a third of that Nicholas's HP right there, which is great. Knocking out that much HP from the destroyer still early in the game is great. So this was taken before the Pan-Asian missions came out, so there's only, 4 DDs per team in this game. Over the past couple weeks, with the Pan-Asian missions, we've been getting nothing but, 5 destroyer games. So, especially, I would say, at lower tier. All the missions were in the latter stage where you had to use a destroyer, and some of them involved getting flooding damage. That's why I was playing the Shannon on this game, trying to hit some torps, because it has 3 triple launchers on a quick reload. Trying to take advantage of that. But anyway, back to the game. At D, the Anshan remains capping D, but our Aoba is there. So I decide to push back toward the cap. There's Nicholas again. I call target on him. I have speed boost engaged, so I'm going to turn away from him to minimize my profile being shown to him. And he's at half, I'm at half. But I popped smoke. He's being spotted by the T-22 and possibly by the planes, which allowed me to continue shooting at him. And again, look, that's almost 1,800 and a salvo. Not bad. Again, don't underestimate the IGN guns. They're situational, I would say, but they can be very effective. Very effective. As I'm using them to do a lot of damage to this Nicholas. He's only a tier 5, but still he can be a threat to our team. Okay, so with my help, we take him out. That's one less DD. At this point, the red team only has 1 DD. We have 2, which is great. So now I open fire. There are the Nicholas's torpedoes. I missed those. Open fire on the Kirov. The Kirov has great guns as a cruiser, but is very soft. And a lot with the bigger guns and a larger caliber, on a cruiser or a battleship, you can easily citadel a Kirov. So again, more torps. I could have angled a little better to those, but I was aware enough where I could just back up and dodge the one that was closest to me. That's an unrepairable fire on the Kirov. Something I don't like that Wargaming did recently was they changed fire duration on cruisers and destroyers, not on battleships, just cruisers and destroyers, from 1 minute to 30 seconds. I don't like that at all as a destroyer main, and I mean, I guess I can understand it maybe at low tier, but I just don't understand why they did that as a global change. I think in high tier it's ridiculous, especially in clan battles. That's been something I don't like to see. Now I'm telling the T-22 to come with me to B to help me cap, because at this point our team hasn't capped A, and they've had 2 caps to R1 for the entire game, for a lot longer. And we're up because we've killed 1 more ship than they have, but they have a cap lead on us, so they'll catch up. The New Mexico dodged my torps there. Unfortunate. Could have gotten a lot more damage, but no big deal. And again, I'm talking about taking what the team gives you. That's what's been going on in this game. Now I can't push into the cap because the Furitaka. He could have Hydro, and it's probably about a 4-kilometer range. I can't allow him to rush me. At this point, my smoke is on cooldown, so I have no choice but to flee. I do get torps out on him, though. And he's really focused on trying to gun me down, and I'm doing my best to juke. Those torps look good, don't they? Let's see. Yes, I get 2 hits, and he's down to 1,800. 1,600, then I open fire. And again, don't be afraid to use your guns, but be smart about when you use them. They're situational. Here we have a low HP target that I need to finish off, and there he goes. So with that, our team is now up by 6 ships to 3, which gives us a nice lead. But they still have 2 caps. I don't like that. As a destroyer player, I want to make sure my team has the objectives and don't give the team any advantage, because over time, those points do tick. And as a DD, you need to cap. You need to cap, defend cap, contest cap as much as you can. At the beginning of this game, it was too hot. There were too many of them there. The Anshan has much better guns than I do as far as gun power, and I just couldn't challenge that. And then the Furitaka pushed in there, and I couldn't challenge him because, again, a cruiser with Hydro, is not something you want to go up against. Now I'm plane spotted by the torpedo bombers. Been a lot of adversity this game, but hey, because of those torpedo hits and everything, I've got 53,000 damage. And that kill. So, not bad. But as I've been talking about, it's about taking what they give you. At this point, I'm in the cap, I'm capping, I have friendly fighters overhead, and there's no enemy ships around. We just lost our Molotov, though, so hey, the game's not over. The game's not over. But again, I'm playing the objective and just trying to secure this cap for the team. Kirov detects me. I use a smoke. It's my last smoke. It's unfortunate I had over a minute of speed boost left when I popped it, but that's where we are. So open fire on the Kirov. It's always satisfying to get a fire on your first salvo. And hey, he's only got 8,200 HP left. And again, the Kirov's kind of soft, so you can do some good damage to him. And I launched my torps just too far in front of him. So we're trying to secure the cap, but the Kirov pushes into it, and he's contesting it. And again, the Kirov can have Hydro. He's a tier 5 cruiser. So again, I don't really have a choice here. I have to move up, try to bring my guns to bear, and finish this guy off. Low tier cruisers don't have heal. They don't get heal until tier 9. So the damage they take is permanent. His torpedo range is 4 kilometers, but they are fast. So I just need to move up a little bit, and I finish him off. And I secure the cap. At this point I have 63,000 damage. Hey, not a record damage game this game, I understand that. But again, taking what they give me as a destroyer and playing my role. Don't try to overextend and do too much. You get killed. You get killed very quickly. If you see too many red ships around you at a cap, disengage. Get into a more advantageous position. Take them on one at a time. Take them on however you can. As a note, I'm plane spotted here. If you're plane spotted, if you launch torps while being plane spotted, your torps will be spotted for the duration of their run. So I wait to go undetected and then launch at the Cleveland. I don't know how many people know that about if you're plane spotted and you launch torps, but hopefully that taught somebody something. Running from the Cleveland, he's the guy detecting me, trying to call target on him, but the Burundi is fighting it out with the Anshan and probably isn't paying attention. I don't blame him. You have to go for the people closest to you in that kind of situation. So let's see, this week 0.6.14 came out that added the Pan-Asian Destroyer line, and I've begun playing those. I'm enjoying those. I got a torped there. The tier 4 Pan-Asian DD is very strong. A ridiculous shell velocity on its main guns. Just ridiculous. But it is strong, and I've only played a few games in it, and they were all losses, but I led the team in all but one of them, so. At this point, we're really just trying to mop them up in this game as we have all the points. The Anshan is capping. Our Bogue is probably in trouble in the back. The Bogue is so slow. But we do have a ship advantage and the point advantage. Hey, but we found their Bogue. At this point, I can see him, but my gun range isn't good enough to be able to hit him. So I'm not able to actually shoot him. But we'll Weasel clip 900 points, and the victory is definitely in sight. But again, just a game in the Shinonome. Not a record damage game. I do have a 161,000 game. That was actually a tier 8 game I got a while ago. In the Shinonome. 161,000 damage. It was impressive. I had a bunch of torpedo hits. And I do finish him off. I get a couple citadels once he gets in gun range, and I get the kill. So, I finished this game with 77, call it 78k damage, and 3 kills. And I only had 3 torpedo hits this game, so I managed to land 89 shells. I led the team with almost 2,000 base XP. And if you look at this, my gun damage was more than my torpedo damage. 35,000 to 33,000. And the fire damage added to it as well. So, again, in the Japanese destroyers, the Shinonome is a earnable through a campaign. But again, take what the enemy team gives you. Don't try to do too much. Be smart about your guns. And you can do very well. Signing off, this is Saints Fan, Mr. OK.